What's up everyone, this is Tony with JRNYcrypto. This is just going to be a quick video going over some major news happening in the crypto space. Definitely some huge things happening you guys should know about. I am quite bullish right now as well, and we do have the Ethereum London hard fork happening tomorrow. I'm going to discuss my thoughts on this as well. So I do think it's more likely than not this Wyckoff accumulation here is going to play out, and we are going to break upwards towards $50,000 possibly by the end of August. So we're going to talk about the markets and my thoughts and possibilities. Before we get started, I do appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell to be notified for my daily videos. Alright guys, so the market's actually looking really good today. We do have Bitcoin up 3% and Ethereum up 7, surprisingly, with the Ethereum London hard fork tomorrow. People usually buy the rumor and sell the news, but I don't think that will have a huge effect with Ethereum. And right away, we are going to start having Ethereum burned with every transaction. So I'm going to talk more about that and what that means for Ethereum and why it's very bullish for the Ethereum network. So we have some other major things happening in the space as well. Another country looking to make Bitcoin a legal tender. So what Bitcoin does here in the next couple weeks is very crucial, in my opinion, to where we're headed in the crypto space in the short term. If we do break $42,000 Bitcoin, I do think it's very likely we will be testing $50,000 Bitcoin at some point in August. And that would actually line up quite accurately with the Wyckoff accumulation schematic. So this is actually playing out very accurately, quite surprising, especially with all the manipulation happening and everything. And where we're at right now does look a lot like phase D here, where we did just hit a peak and we had pretty much 9 straight days of green in a row. We do have a small retracement, and now we're going to be moving sideways for a week or two before breaking upwards towards $50,000 Bitcoin. So if we do look at the Bitcoin chart here, we can see this actually does look very accurately to that Wyckoff accumulation schematic, where we did have a couple peaks here, testing major resistance levels and then crashing back to major support levels, and then having a extended phase here where we're just slowly going down, where we did have the Wyckoff spring here, and then moving straight upwards and breaking the major resistance levels, having a small pullback. So this would be phase D right here, where we would be moving sideways for a week or two before breaking upwards towards $50,000. So I do think this is very likely this could play out within August, but keep in mind nothing is guaranteed, and this is just a schematic. It's not going to play out accurately 100% of the time. All right guys, so we definitely have some huge news in the past 24 hours, huge steps towards mass adoption, and definitely bullish for the crypto space as a whole, which is why I'm bullish in general as well. I definitely think it's very possible we do test $50,000 Bitcoin at some point in August. So first here we have Fidelity has quietly acquired a $20 million stake in one of the world's largest Bitcoin miners. Spread across 4 index funds, the move opens mom and pop retirement investors to Bitcoin exposure. So Fidelity has been slowly branching out more in cryptocurrency, which is massive. The amount of money they have managed within their clients is in the trillions. So this is huge. Definitely a good sign that they're branching out into cryptocurrencies more. And I do think eventually it will become the norm for people to have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few other cryptocurrencies in their retirement fund, and having companies like Fidelity managing that for them. So the more companies we do have like this getting into cryptocurrency, the better. So as of today, Google ads for Bitcoin are no longer banned. During the last bull market, we did have Google and some other platforms ban Bitcoin and cryptocurrency ads. Google has lifted that ban, and yesterday was the first day that Bitcoin ads are now enabled again. So this is pretty huge. It's going to give a lot more exposure to exchanges and cryptocurrency, which is going to help get a lot more people into the crypto space as well and spread word. All right guys, so we do have another country looking to make Bitcoin legal tender. If we do have 1 or 2 more countries that do pass Bitcoin as legal tender by the end of 2021, that's going to be huge in my opinion. That, alongside a couple more institutions acquiring $1 billion worth of Bitcoin or more, is the push we need to really break a $100,000 Bitcoin, in my opinion. And that's definitely a possibility by the end of 2021. So we have Uruguay, lawmaker proposes bill to treat crypto as a legal tender. So the second country was Paraguay, and they did present a bill to Congress, but that did not pass yet. But I'm sure they'll keep pushing for that, and they are pushing for Bitcoin mass adoption in other ways as well. So the more countries we have pushing Bitcoin to become legal tender, the better. And I do think this will become a trend. And by the end of 2022, I think we'll have more than a few countries that have passed Bitcoin as legal tender. All right, guys. So I've been getting a lot of requests for an update on Sparkpoint SRK, and they actually had a huge update today with their new monthly roadmap for August. The only project in the space that I've seen that does monthly roadmaps with huge events on everything. This keeps investors updated and it keeps something coming once per week. So I do really like that, and they have been pushing and growing their team and growing the token utility very rapidly. They are doing some big things, like they've applied for a banking license. They just announced SparkPoint Global Ventures. I don't know exactly what that entails yet, but I am going to be talking to their CEO and getting some more information on this. So last month they launched their launchpad with their first project, which was successful. A couple months before that, they launched Spark Swap, which is a Binance Smart Chain swap like Pancake Swap, and they have been getting a lot of partners from that, and they are working on a lot of other things. So the one thing that I do think SparkPoint needs to improve on is their user interface, and I have stressed this to their CEO multiple times, and he has stated that they're going to be improving the user interface for basically everything they have, which that is actually on this monthly roadmap. Sparkpool UI improvements official launch. Besides that, they have the Spark Learn. They are physically teaching people blockchain, which they'll probably be hiring some of these people as well. Spark DeFi, new liquidity staking pools, and Own Pool. So Only was the project that launched in their Spark launchpad. SparkPoint GV Global Venture official launch. I will have to get more information about that for you guys, but basically they're going global here, and they do have their own Twitter for this as well. So SparkPoint Global Ventures investing in the next generation of cutting-edge blockchain and cryptocurrency projects with global impact. Very interesting. Definitely looking forward to see what they do with this. But regardless, this project has been moving very quickly, building quicker than any other small cap project I've seen in the space. And a quick disclaimer, I am a marketing advisor for this project, but I pretty much try to become an advisor for every project that I see has huge potential, because I do want to help them in any way I can. I do give them marketing advice and give them tips on how to add more utility for the token and everything. So definitely a project you should have on your radar, but I'm not saying that you should buy SRK at this current moment. But if we do check out the price of SRK, currently up 27% with that new roadmap and announcements. But as you guys can see here, the price is pretty flat after it did peak out here. It peaked out over 2 cents. It did hit 2.5 cents very briefly, and it was pretty stable here around 1 cent before the crypto space crashed as a whole at the end of May. And I do think this project will be very successful in the long term. It's a project that built through this entire bear market, as you guys can see, with the price basically flat to nothing here. They were building through this entire thing, growing their team, building more products. So I have complete faith in this team that they'll continue building and continue adding more utility and branching out in any ways they can to really build out the SparkPoint project. So we did have Gary Gensler, the chair of the SEC, do an interview and discuss Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and I do think this is actually quite bullish. So SEC Chair Gensler outlines plans for crypto trading, exchanges, investor protection, and Bitcoin ETFs. And I do think we're likely to get a Bitcoin ETF at some point within the next year, which is very bullish for the crypto space as a whole. So the chairman of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's SEC, Gary Gensler, has outlined how the SEC plans to regulate the crypto industry, focusing on investor protection. Gensler discussed concerns the SEC has about crypto trading, exchanges, lending, DeFi platforms, and exchange-traded funds, ETFs. So he did state, right now, we just don't have enough investor protection in crypto. Frankly, at this time, it's more like the Wild West. This asset class is rife with fraud, scams, and abuse in certain applications. If we don't address these issues, I worry a lot of people will be hurt. A lot of people already have been hurt, and the scams are really running rampant in the cryptocurrency space. So this will actually be a good thing in the long term. This will give many people the confidence needed to actually get in the cryptocurrency space, and a lot of people are staying away from cryptocurrencies for this very reason. So in the short term, like I've been saying, it can have a negative effect, some short-term panic, but if you are a long-term holder that's dollar cost averaging on dips, then this is a good thing for the very long term, in my opinion. So we actually did have the crypto space moving upwards today, even after this interview. And he actually did talk about Bitcoin and Satoshi Nakamoto, stating here, Nakamoto's innovation is real. So we also have news today of Victory Capital filing an SEC application for a crypto ETF. So we are getting news of a lot of various companies applying for a crypto ETF, and I do think it's likely one will happen at some point in the next year, and that will be a huge step towards mass adoption and huge for the crypto space as a whole. So Bitcoin eyes $36,000 support as chart hints at potential golden cross within weeks. So we did talk about this previously when we did have the death cross. Just the opposite of the death cross is the golden cross, and the golden cross actually plays out more accurately than the death cross does. So when we do get this, we are likely to see a huge rally the month following the actual golden cross. So if this does play out here in the next few weeks, that's definitely a great sign in my opinion. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. So Ethereum's London hard fork is expected to arrive on Thursday, ushering in EIP 1559. Think Ethereum is going to morph into a deflationary asset overnight, not so fast. So this is important here. A lot of people think Ethereum is just going to become deflationary, which is true that Ethereum will be burned with every transaction now. But we have to keep in mind that Ethereum is being mined on a regular basis as well. So new Ethereum is coming into circulation consistently, while Ethereum is going to be burned consistently from every transaction is also. So we do have to keep that in mind, that for Ethereum to become deflationary, more Ethereum does have to be burned than Ethereum being created from mining. So we'll see how that plays out, but regardless, Ethereum being burned is a huge step in the right direction, and this update also brings some huge improvements to the Ethereum network. So while the Ethereum London hard fork is huge for the Ethereum network, we have to keep in mind multiple phases of Ethereum 2 will be rolling out over the next year as well, making other major improvements like improvements to the gas fees and other major problems on the Ethereum network. And as you guys know, the gas fee problem is a major problem with Ethereum that does need to be fixed. At the peak of the bull market, especially when there was a lot of meme token hype, we saw Ethereum gas fees over $500 per transaction, which is just ridiculous. And no one wants to pay anything more than $10 in my opinion. Even $5 to $10 is too much. So definitely improvements need to be made, which is why so many Ethereum competitor projects have been thriving as well, like Polkadot, Cardano, Polygon, Matic, and others. So a lot of people think Ethereum is going to dump after tomorrow, having a buy the rumors, sell the news effect. But I don't think if it does dip, it won't dip too much in my opinion, maybe a 5 to 10% temporary dip. But overall, this is very bullish for Ethereum. So in the long term, even in the short term, I do think this will be very great for the price of ETH. So this will also greatly depend where Bitcoin and the crypto space is headed as a whole in August. If we do see Bitcoin drop to 35,000 or even the low 30,000s again, of course Ethereum is going to dip with it. That's just how the entire crypto space moves, is pretty much all moving together as we've seen. But if Bitcoin is rising after this, while this Ethereum London hard fork kicks in, I do think we will be seeing a $3,000 Ethereum here at some point in August. So definitely huge for Ethereum. We also have the Bitcoin Taproot upgrade coming to Bitcoin by end of year. We have the Cardano Goguen mainnet coming by end of year, which is huge. Lots of major blockchain upgrades. So definitely very bullish in my opinion. On top of this, all of this real world mass adoption happening is very bullish for the crypto space as a whole. And I definitely think we're going to be on an uptrend towards end of year again. So in the short term, anything could happen, especially with looming regulations. But as we saw with in that interview with Gary Gensler, I don't think this is going to play out as badly as people think. And then once this does start to kick in and it's not as bad as people think, I think a lot of money on the sidelines waiting in stable coins will be coming back into the markets. And just a lot of FOMO all at once is really going to make this surge very quickly. Imagine we do have multiple companies starting to buy into Bitcoin on top of 1 or 2 more countries making Bitcoin legal tender, how much FOMO this is going to create for other companies. And then this will kick in retail FOMO again as well. So I do think that's a scenario where we will see $100,000 Bitcoin by end of year. And I do think it's more likely than not, things are going to be on an uptrend towards end of year and breaking previous Bitcoin all-time highs. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys found it useful. If you did, don't forget to like the video, comment below, and share the video with anyone else you think may find this useful. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.